There it goes. It says I'm live. Hey folks, how are you? Just another impromptu live going out on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And this one is 2024, the year of the harvest. 2024, the year of the harvest. I think here we are. It's just 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. It's a week and a half into the new year. And I'm, trying not to get overexcited. I'm trying to use a little self-control. But here's the basic reality of it. We sowed a lot of seed in 2023. Now, my question to you is, what seed did you sow? So, when I think about the seed that was sown in 2023 for us, it was the volume of lives, the volume of content. I actually received a message from someone on LinkedIn. It was like a year and a half ago. An old connection had messaged me and said, "Did you get a job with LinkedIn? Because I see you all over the place." And that's because I was like, if I'm going to do this personal branding thing, I got to ramp this thing up. I got to get out there. I got to put myself out there. Now, I just went live a couple days ago, and I was talking about a question that I had received through post status. And it was asking, how much of yourself do you put out there? What's appropriate? Do you talk about finances and relationships and things like that? Or do you focus on business, when you're blogging or posting or doing lives? My answer was, be genuine to yourself. Make sure that you are, putting out an energy or information or content that is reflective of how you communicate in real life. And so I felt that was well received. And in fact, that led to a one-on-one, I'm not going to call it a consulting session. Nobody exchanged any money, but it was one of those pay it forward moments. And we spent about an hour or so, on Zoom having a really good conversation. And I got this response. And again, I leave names out, so I don't want to call people out online or anything like that. But it says, "Hey, Kurt, thanks for taking the time to chat with me today. I'm still sifting through the notes that I jotted down." That's important. When you spend time with somebody, are they trainable? Are they willing to learn? You can't always assume, that you're the leader and they're the mentee or any of those things, right? If you are a mentor, embrace it. If you're being mentored, embrace it. Take it for what it is. Write the notes. Take the information. It's being offered, so grab it. And so he says, I'm still sifting through the notes that I jotted down. It says, the overwhelming wealth of knowledge and tips you provided is a massive motivator for me. I'll keep you posted as things change. Also, I will reach out. I'll leave that out. An organization he's looking for is looking for a speaker, so I may do that. That's what this is all about. You meet with people, you build relationships, you mentor or you be mentored. I would love to be mentored by some people. There's some people on my list. I'm like, man, I'd love to get some one-on-one time with you, right? And if people feel that way about me, reach out. Maybe there's an opportunity for me to spend some time with you or to share some knowledge. Now, here's the unique thing about what was written versus my perception of that. My perception of that was two dudes were just getting to know each other on Zoom. Share a little bit of information. Do you do it this way? Do you do it that way? How do you treat a customer? Right. But we just had a conversation. And this person says, the overwhelming wealth of knowledge and tips you provided is a massive motivator for me. Folks, that is a harvest. It might not go in your bank account. It might not be something that's evident, in your PayPal, Stripe, or credit card. But those are the points that pay off dividends downstream. Remember, every time that we get to share our knowledge with somebody else, we're also sharpening our own utensils, right? The more that we can share, the more that we can teach, the more that we can mentor, the more professional and confident we appear when we're talking in front of our clients. And so takes me another fast forward moment. I've got a couple of fast forward moments here for you. Fast forward moment to today, working with a new graphics person that I brought on to the team. We've got a pretty cool project we're working on. I met with the client, I took some notes, and then I got a sample of a picture from the client, something that they thought was interesting. And then I went to my graphic designer and I said, we got to develop a logo for this project. And this is what I feel about the client. This is the way I feel about this. This is the way I feel about that. I gave them some good, bullet point types of information that they could develop with. And about 6 to 8 hours of work later, I got 4 logo samples. And by the way, I can see people are in here live. So if you're in here live and you want to pop in with a comment, let me know where you're from, whether you got a blizzard out front or not, because we had a blizzard last night. We had like a foot of snow in the front yard. But put in your comments. I'll see if I can interact with you here while we're doing this. But she makes these samples. Out of the 4 samples, I'm like, all right, well, this one I don't think is going to match anything that the client's looking for. Now, graphics are unique to me because they're completely subjective. And I am not an artist. So I'm very upfront about this. I am not the artist. If someone comes to me and they want a graphic, a logo, an infographic, something like that, I'm going to have someone on my team make that. I'm not going to make it because I'm graphically handicapped. So, but I do have an eye. Like once it's made, I'm the perfect customer, right? I can't tell you what I don't like until you show it to me. Well, she showed it to me and I was like, that one ain't going to do it. Boom. But let's take these 3 and let's put them into a presentation and let's confidently share these 3 with the client. So we did a presentation today. Now, I just want to share this with you because earlier in this broadcast, I was talking about I spent time with somebody else, right? I volunteered my time. I worked with someone for just a little bit of time and I get back. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me. I'm sifting through all the notes that I jotted down. The overwhelming wealth of knowledge and tips you provide is a massive motivator for me. I'll post you as things change. Okay. And then what I said was the more we pay it forward and the more we work with people and the more that we network with people and we discuss business ideas, the sharper and more confident we become. I just shared with you, I'm not an artist, but I can communicate like an artist when I am selling to a client. So I put these 3 images into a presentation. I describe each of those images, the pluses, the minuses, the feminine energy, the negative space, all these things. And we discuss these 3. And then I get the feedback from the client and with confidence, close them on one of the 3 options. So that again is the year of the harvest, 2024. Bringing things from all that seed that was sown all that time last year to how are we going to bring this home in 2024. Now I got one more that I want to go and share with you here. I'm going to put that in there and say, hey, tell me where you're from because I don't see any comments coming in yet. I've got one here. It was an email. Now this had gone to spam. So this email actually came in a couple weeks ago, and about every 2 weeks or so, I look at my spam folders just to make sure I'm not missing anything important. And this one was in there. So I'll give you a first name. This gentleman's name is Nick. Okay. Nick saw me speak in person at Dealer Week in Tampa, Florida in December. So he writes, Kurt, I attended 2 of your classes at the MRAA Dealer Week. I was wondering how many books you have out. Sow the seed, harvest 2024, right? So how can I obtain them? I learned and received a lot of information from both your classes. I gave 2 talks at Dealer Week, okay, from both your classes. So this is someone that attended both talks. It says, thank you. And then he gives his name and the boat dealership that he owns or works at. I think he owns this one. So for me, I go back to sowed the seed, did the work, did the talk, promoted the book, made the website, did the lives, jumped on LinkedIn Live with impromptu messages like this one, consistently interviewed people and made more podcast episodes, consistently put out the newsletter through the back end of our websites, each project has its own message. So we have Action Leadership Team, we have Mañana No Mas, we have the Power Sport Academy. So we have these things, and then we have to kind of track what's working, what's not, and double down on the things that are working. So all that seed was sown. 2024 comes along, and 2024, year of the harvest, is we got a client that books us on the logo. We got a client that's going to take that logo and pay us for a whole style guide. We have that client that's going to take that style guide and allow us to build out all of their print material templates for them, their sales material, point of sales material when they do conventions and displays and things like that and shows, and then build an entire e-learning marketing-based website that is very interactive. And so all of this is coming through the Mañana No Mas agency, right? But the work was seed that was thrown earlier. And right now we're just harvesting the reward of all of that hard work. So all of this stuff, all of this, you see me on the WP Tonic podcast. You see me on the Membership Machine Show. You see me on Lifter LMS live pre-sales calls. If you are a member of Lifter LMS, you see me on the Mastermind and the Office Hours calls. I am putting it out there in so many different places. But at the end of the day, that is just sowing the seeds that become the harvest. And so I'm really, really excited to see what 2024 has for me. And I'm really excited to see what it has for some of you. I have put a few messages out on LinkedIn where people at higher levels of management have been finding issues with finding employment. And they'll say, oh, well, I applied for this, but I didn't get it. Or I applied for that. Or this is what was said by a recruiter. And I go back to why? Why are you still putting yourself through this? If you want to be self-employed, if you want to grab the bull by the horns and become the consultant, the trainer, the coach, the speaker, the whatever it is, embrace that, do that. If you are middle to high level management and you need to be in the $250,000 range, and there's just not positions that are willing to fork that over to you at your current station in life, the heck with them. Do it on your own. Make it happen. You can sit at home and wait for the phone to ring with an opportunity, or you can go out and create an opportunity. Sow that seed now, so that when things go south, when things don't improve, you can lean back on the work that you've done in those downtimes, and you can say, well, here's that harvest. Newsflash, 3 years ago, I was applying for jobs like crazy, right? I was what would you call that, right? They called it a management position at Suzuki, right? But I was the publication and training manager for Suzuki. It was automotive, motorcycle, marine, 3 big divisions, huge company in charge of all of their publications, their training material, their e-learning websites, all of that stuff. And then they had the layoffs. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go backwards. I want to go forward. Let's find another job. Am I going to be a CEO next? Am I going to be a CTO next? What does the future hold? I was kind of excited. Well, then COVID came with the lockdowns and nobody was hiring for a while. And then there was the, affirmative action or DEI or whatever you want to call it. And in California, that culture was thick. And I didn't get angry. I just took it for what it was. And I was like, I'm going to grow my side hustle, which is now my main hustle. So I'm going to grow this main hustle the best I can. And I'll just keep applying for things that have an alignment with my goals and my growth. Well, now here we are, 3.5, coming up on 4 years later. It is 4 years later. Oh my goodness. Next week makes 4 years. 4 years since I've been laid off at Suzuki. Well, do you understand what a company would have to offer me now to lure me away from Mañana No Mas? I'd still be open to it. Some company comes in with some great offer. Someone needs a CEO or a board member or something of that level, that capacity. I'm in. Let's have the conversation. But I don't have to have conversations anymore about, well, you got to come in at this level and we're really looking for someone to take ownership of this. But, we're going to need, we're going to pay you this much, but we're always looking for people that can travel 70% of the time. And this, I don't have to have those conversations anymore because I sowed the seed and we're reaping the harvest. And I'm trying to encourage as many people as possible to follow that pathway. Sow the seed. And if you've already sown it, don't be afraid to make the harvest. If you've already sown the seed, if 22 and 23 were years where you were just throwing stuff out there and making content and growing your network and shaking hands and talking to people and going to meetings and seminars, if you've already done that work, don't be afraid to go out there with your sickle and start making a harvest. Start collecting, start getting paid. And if you got questions on how to make that happen, I encourage you to reach out to me, Kurt@manananomas.com. You can go to manananomas.com and see my website there. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's my primary social media channel. So if you want to go to Kurt Von Annen on LinkedIn, I'm the only Kurt Von Annen on LinkedIn, so I'm easy to find. And love to connect with you, see what comes next. All right. I see some people have come and gone from this live. So if you found value in it and you want to add a comment, that would be fantastic. One thing I'm going to ask for, if you are watching this on YouTube, I would love a subscription or a like or a something, some kind of love on YouTube. I would like to grow YouTube to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark so you can get access to other tools and things to play with there. And I got a long way to go. I've been on YouTube for years and years and years and years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, but I got 74 subscribers. I'm not complaining about the lack of subscribers. I'd like to see more, right? And I'd love for you to be able to do that for me. But, here's the deal. Some accounts have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and no interaction. And other accounts, might have very little in terms of subscribership, but have great interaction. When I go to word camps or when I go to this marine event that I just went to, Dealer Week in Florida in December, I run into people all the time and they go, "Hey, I was watching your video on this," or "I was watching your video just yesterday when I was talking to that gentleman I mentioned earlier. He said, 'Oh, I was watching your piece on journaling and it inspired me to want to journal some more or to try journaling.'" He goes, "Just like you said you thought it was stupid, I thought it was stupid too, but I'm going to give it a shot." And it's like, those are the winning moments. Those are what makes it count. And so if I've only got 74 subscribers, but I've talked to 20 people that say they watch these things and find value in them, then I'm going to keep doing it because I'm paying it forward in some way and adding value in some way. But it would be nice to see some subscribership grow on that channel so that I could get access to some of the other tools. Folks, that's it. Happy New Year. I hope that your 2024 year of the harvest is coming true. I can't stress it enough. If you're due for a harvest, don't be afraid to go get it. Go out and start raking it in. I'll talk to you later. Have yourself a fantastic afternoon. And I'll probably put up a couple of lives this week. One is I'm thinking about doing a webinar on using e-learning as a marketing tool. If you'd like to see me do that with a scheduled time so that I could say, "Hey, here's the schedule when you want to sign into this." If you would like to see me do that in the next week, hit me up with a comment or something like that. I've got the presentation built for that, and I was going to do a talk on it this week, but I didn't have to do that. So now I've got this asset that I can use, and I was thinking about sharing it with you guys on a live webinar sometime this week. So if that's something you'd like to see, go ahead and hit me up on that and let me know. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.